Prepare yourself for List Off, the gaming podcast where your hosts, Brian and Ryan, rank the things they love. 3, 2, 1, List Off!
In a world where world premieres rule the world, two men attempt to list the top 10 game trailers.
How's it going, Ryan?
Good. I thought you were going to say top 10 game trailers in the world. Just
to have that would have been
world
great.
In there one more time. Yeah, that was good, though. I like your movie trailer voice.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I've been practicing for 7 days, so that's good.
Perfect.
Yeah. So did you play any video games this week?
I did not.
What?
No,
Okay.
I'm totally joking. Of course I did. Of course I played
Okay.
games this week. I played more Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Okay.
But I think everybody's probably heard us talk enough about that, right?
Oh, yeah. Enough
If you
about
haven't,
that.
go back and listen to our Xbox extravaganza, and you'll get all the Halo multiplayer you'll ever want. But I played some Doom Eternal. I ended up figuring the workaround out, which was to disconnect my Xbox from the internet. So that's the only way, apparently, to avoid signing up for this Bethesda account, which, like, who cares, right? I could have easily signed up for it. It's not going to do anything, but I'm like, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. And I did attempt it again, and I was having that same message where it's like, oh, we're encountering an issue. Like, if this continues, contact Bethesda.net. So I ended up going offline, getting into the game, and playing it. It was great. It's awesome. It wasn't like I was too, I'm fine with first person shooters. Everybody who's familiar with the show knows, like, I prefer third person action games, but I wasn't tied. Like, I'm into the environments in any way. I didn't find the art style necessarily appealing, but I kept playing simply because the gameplay and the music are so good. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just, that's really the hook. And yeah, I like, you had talked about it a while back, but I love the balance of, okay, I got a melee or like use my chainsaw to get life. And, you really got to work out whether you need ammo or health and how to do that. But
Armor now too.
Cool. Yeah, armor, and the enemies were really cool. I like that they had weaknesses and you could pinpoint them with different weapons, and each weapon had a different little mode you could use. So I'll probably play that some more. I don't know if I'll make it all the way through, but it was fun to dip in and finally get a taste of like the newer Doom games.
Nice.
Yeah, I also played a game called Dicey Dungeons, which is on Game Pass.
Okay.
It's similar to a deck building game, but it uses dice. It's very interesting the way they do it. You'll get, so for example, the first run, you start out as the warrior, and he starts out with like a sword, and whatever value you roll on the dice, you basically dictate where you put them out of like your equipment, right? So with the sword, it's whatever you roll is the attack value. So you pick which dice you want to place there, but then you might have something else where it's like, oh, put a dice here, it's a bump. And if you bump it, it raises by 1, but that's a one-time use per turn. Or you make it something like a battle axe, which, it doubles the attack value, but you can only put a maximum value of 4 on there out of the dice that you have. So you really have to dictate like how you're going to use the rolls you have. And it's interesting how they get into all the different equipment you could have. Some of them count down. So it might be like you heal 8 hit points, but it starts with a count of 16. So you have to put dice there as you go if you know it's going to be a longer fight with an enemy, because then eventually that countdown will get to 0 and you'll heal your 8 points, right? So they definitely do a great job of mixing up the gameplay. I will play that more, very casual deck building type game, but with dice. If you have an interest in something like that, I definitely recommend you check it out. It is not necessary. It's got a cool art style, and the animation is fine, but it's not terribly appealing. It's like, I don't know why. I feel like that's the biggest fault with all of these deck builders or these types of games, that they can't just make it really visually stunning. And unfortunately, that's the case with this too. It's fine. It's entertaining. They have interesting sprites for the enemies. Some of them are very cheeky and funny, but it's not the type of visual, like there's a lot of potential there,
right?
When you're dealing with attacks and magic and everything else. And It just doesn't reach that potential. I'll say that.
Sure.
But a lot of fun to play. And then the Halo campaign dropped too.
Yes.
So I've only played like about an hour or two of it. I think it's incredible, extremely cinematic, very intriguing. I want to, fill in these gaps between what had happened prior. So I did watch videos to catch up on like Halo lore, and there's still a lot left unsaid between what the lore is, where the lore is currently in the beginning of this game. And it's very much a part of the story already that Master Chief kind of has to fill in these gaps of what occurred.
Right.
So definitely a mystery there to keep you going. It's really good looking. And really just that it's not surprising to say that gameplay is a ton of fun, because it's the same gameplay from the multiplayer, which is a ton of fun.
Well, the grapple shot makes things way crazier, because you can just do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
And that opens up the whole Halo world.
Right. They have the shielded enemies that you're supposed to use like plasma weapons on to get rid of their shield. I was just grappling them, and their shield goes to the side, and then grappling them again, and like whipping and meleeing them. And it's just a joy to play, man.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Are you playing on normal or anything higher than
normal?
That?
Just normal.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I'm good with
I think I want to do normal and get through the story, and then probably do the other difficulties at that point.
Yeah. Co-op legendary?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We got to get through it and get good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have also been playing the Halo Infinite campaign, and I think we're probably about the same place. It sounded like from what you were describing. But yeah, that moment when you're kind of out of the sewer, it's not sewers, but it's like an installation where it's all inside, and then it opens up and it has its sewer moment of opening up the whole world. That was crazy because it's just this huge like blast door that opens and shows you the entire Zeta Halo. And that moment, I was like, oh man, we're back in it. And
I thought it was cool too. The moment that you get in that ship and take off was almost just as eye-opening as the sewer part,
right?
Because you're like, wow,
it's just seamless. I mean, you just walk in there, and then the rest of the world is like you can still see it in the hangar of the plane that you're flying, or the Pelican. And I mean, a cinematic is happening during the whole time, and the camera kind of moves around, but yeah, you still get that whole Halo worlds that you can travel. I mean, presumably, what I understand, you can walk and climb on all these locations. So it's not like you have to go from point to point. You can actually just travel there.
Yeah.
So
very good direction so far. Yeah.
I really like, so the new Cortana person, the weapon, she is great fun. She's got a very quirky personality, a little less serious than Cortana, which is interesting to me. Very fun. I'm sure something weird's going to happen with her character.
Yeah, they're definitely, she seems like a major part of the story, right? And it does seem as though Cortana will end up being so as well. That's not a spoiler. We don't know. But it's
Well, she's in Cortana is in the game. Like there's some flashback moments that I think are really well done.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think that seamless transition to some of those cinematics was really, really well done. And the cinematics themselves were very well directed, definitely felt important. Like the angles were right. It was good. It was all very enjoyable. Yeah.
I will say it is very silly, the enemies in this game and their whole, like, we're just going to conquer everything. Like, whatever. I mean,
it's extremely silly.
Yeah. But
extremely
I mean,
silly.
That's kind of Halo anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But were those all the games you were playing?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for me it was Halo Infinite for the most part, a little bit of multiplayer here and there. And then I actually bought Inscription.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I didn't have enough to get to Returnal. Just $70 is
it's funny how you feel like you have to say that with me. And it's funny that like I'm like, oh, you bought Inscription. Nice. Right. Gritted teeth. Because I'm like, really? Inscription, Brian. No, I'm kidding. Man. No, that's cool. I've heard very, very good things about this game.
Yeah. So you want to talk about art styles in like a deck building game. This one has a very specific one. it does not shine through screenshots. You don't get any sense of the world through screenshots. But when the game is playing on screen, it's really cool. It's a very dark atmosphere. And mind you, I've only played probably about a half hour, maybe an hour. But the art style of the cards is very simple. Everything is pretty like brown colored, and then there's just darkness around you, and you're against this foe that is basically teaching you about the game, but he is definitely like a demon creature. All you can see are his eyes, and then every once in a while this hand will like just like come out of the screen and like do things like just tap on the table, just like creepy things. And you're just in like this cabin, like a hut almost, with him, and you can walk around the whole room. But like,
is it first person?
It's first person. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So there's like the game table is always there, but then you can like get up and walk around when you're not like actively playing a game, and he like commands you to do things. So there's like weird, just like intricacies to it. And there's obviously a lot of stuff that will be able to happen because there's like a clock and like things to interact with that don't do anything, but they will.
Yeah. You think it'll go outside of the game board at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some weird stuff. And just the fact that always in this corner, like a completely shrouded in darkness corner, there's a seemingly large figure with just eyes glowing at you the entire time. It's very unsettling.
Yeah. So you got this for PC?
Yes.
And what did it run? I'm just curious.
So it was on sale. It was about $15.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just curious. I wonder if it's probably available on other systems, right? Like
I don't think so.
Xbox? No, really, only PC.
I'm pretty sure it's only on PC.
Wow.
I would have to look that up. It seemed like it could be a Switch game, and would be a cool place to play it. But it maybe like not.
Great in VR.
It would be great in VR.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is only for Windows. I just looked it up as for Windows. Yeah.
So I think it's Devolver Digital. So they're usually pretty good about bringing things to other places. So maybe they will. But I'm enjoying that. It's so unfair to this game because Halo came out, and that just is going to suck all my time away at this point.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting through Halo first and foremost.
Yeah, it sounds like I really enjoy Inscription. That's why I was asking. But
yeah, it's got a very heavy sense of style to it that I really enjoy, and it was fun to play like late at night and just you can throw some headphones on and really get into the atmosphere if you want to.
Very cool.
So yeah, but I think those are all the games. So how about we get into the lists?
Let's do it.
All right, so we are discussing our top 10 game trailers, which is different from commercials, which we want to put that out there up front. Yeah. So
unfortunately, that does kind of mean that these are going to be more recent, right? Because some of the older game trailers were really just commercials, but we do plan on doing an episode in the future on the top game commercials where it probably will be predominantly retro games.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even nowadays, I can't even think of recent games having commercials so much. Maybe that's just because I don't watch TV like in the same sense that you would in retro times. But
can I put one more caveat in there?
Sure.
At the time of recording, the Game Awards are happening right now, Game Awards 2021. So if there is a trailer that would be list worthy, it is not going to be on our list because we are not watching the Game Awards.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching it like in a big screen right now, and I'll break into really
just let me know if anything important.
Big news. Yeah.
Please
I'm
do.
not watching
it's just in, and everybody will be listening on Monday and be like, yeah, dude, like we know that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 11, my honorable mention is the Tomb Raider reboot. Oh. So this was a game that I dearly enjoyed, and I wasn't really interested in it. I mean, obviously Tomb Raider's been around for a long time. I had dabbled in things like, I think Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation was the first game that I ever played. It that was on Dreamcast that I experienced it. So that was a very Tomb Raider, proper game, I would say. And then they did this whole reboot that is Tomb Raider Uncharted, essentially. Right. And you really got that from this trailer. It's on the ship that she's it. Oh yeah, see, yeah. It's a very memorable one.
Absolutely.
So you really get a sense of her character and how she's like not quite an adventurer yet. She's just with the band of friends, and you kind of get like bits of who she is, and her dad is always this really prolific figure in her life, and she's basically emulating his life and furthering what he sought out to do. And then just like all chaos ensues, and the ship is like just like getting torn apart.
Right.
And there's the climactic moment where she is just like running to get to the part of the ship that is like still salvageable, and she just does this leap of faith to trying to grab onto the other side with her friend there. And that was a cool moment. And I think the trailer really sold people on the idea that Tomb Raider can be, and Lara Croft can be, something more than what she was on early PlayStation titles. So that was just an exciting trailer that really changed the way that I think people viewed Lara as a character.
Yeah, no, I don't have this on my list, and I haven't watched it recently, but man, I almost interrupted you and was like, oh, the part with the ship when it's breaking in half, because it just, I pictured it in my head. Once you mentioned, I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about this trailer, but man, is it a great one.
Yeah.
And it was the first time you were seeing like a green Lara Croft, right? Somebody who wasn't that experienced adventurer, and it was great. Oh man, what a good pick. What a good pick. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely have some more cinematic trailers on my list. However, my honorable mention is not the most cinematic trailer, but man.
So you're delineating like cinematic versus like a gameplay trailer?
No, not really. No, it's just not. It's not cinematic. Like it's not this epic like Tomb Raider reboot, right? Type trailer. This was more about the people's reactions to it, and it is Smash Ultimate. Everyone is here roster reveal.
Okay.
Even my reaction, I saw this live. I just remember it continuing. It was like, oh, you got your Mario, and you got your Kirby, and you got your stalwarts of the series. And then it kept going, and it was like, wait a minute, like, hold on, Splatoon, right? Master Chief's here. Hold on, like they're going, everybody's here. And it was like, everybody's here, everyone is here. And then, immediately these reaction videos from the Smash community were coming out online. And it was just like everybody was so hyped, and it's so fun. Obviously the Smash community has its issues, right? We didn't know that at the time. But it's just fun when any community can get together and get this excitement. I feel like that's the best part of these bigger game events. The one we're missing right now is that it puts it all in a time and a place where everyone can tune in and feel like they're a part of something, like really a part of a gaming community. And to have these moments that you would never see coming. I remember even talking about it prior to this, like, oh, what if they put everybody in Smash Ultimate? Right. I have a brother-in-law who's really into the Smash games. And I was like, could you imagine if they put everyone in it? But that'll never happen, right? Because you don't think it would. You think the licensing issues, you think of all these things that would just cause it to not happen. The fact that like it's the Nintendo Switch, could they really do that? And boom, here it was, like, blew your mind. Even if it's that half expectation, right? It blows your mind. So if there is a Silent Hill announcement at the Game Awards 2021, like, I'd still be super surprised.
Right?
Yeah. And this was one of those moments where it's like, wow, they really did it. Those crazy bastards, they did it.
Right? Yeah, I didn't have any Super Smash Brothers on mine, but the trailers for those games were usually like those intro movies that they would then put on the title for the game. Yeah. And those were always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just like CG trailers of all these characters and epic music in the background and choral people. Yeah.
This was not that kind of trailer, but yes, they definitely had those. Even Smash Ultimate had a great one with when they introduced the Squid Kids. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
like it was kind of showing him in a white background, boom, boom, and then it went to dark, and there was the flaming Smash logo,
right.
and it was in their eye. That was like so great, dude.
That's right.
That was another great trailer. Yeah.
Well, if
yeah.
we're talking about the greatest Smash intros, I'm gonna have to say Banjo-Kazooie. That reveal really was crazy for me.
I bet for
Yeah,
I didn't see my face drop. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
No, it's a good one. All of them were great, but yeah,
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie was one of those that
Oh yeah,
couldn't believe it.
yeah,
Yeah.
They had the Donkey Kong cast like introduce it, which is so crazy. But yeah. Well, good pick.
Thanks.
All
man.
right. Well, getting into the list here, my number 10 is the Borderlands 2, but the Krieg trailer. So this was the character trailer for introducing Krieg. I don't know if you're familiar with this one, but it's called A Meat Bicycle for Two. So Krieg is the psycho character. So he's the shirtless guy that only has a melee attack,
right?
Like the axe kind of weapon. So this trailer is basically just him walking around, and he's a psycho. So he's just yelling crazy stuff all the time. But the trailer has him doing this inner monologue where he's very eloquent.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He like obviously is a very smart guy and down to earth and is talking about like just like going around doing his thing. And then he meets a siren, just another one type of the characters, and it's the siren from the game that people had been playing in Borderlands 2 at this point. And he is just like, oh man, she's beautiful, she's stunning, just don't say anything weird. And then he just screams, I'm the conductor of the poop train. And she's just like, what? And then like a battle starts, and then like he helps her. So like he eventually like gets to know her, and she's like, I guess this guy's not so bad.
That's cool.
But he's still just yelling crazy stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. It's a great trailer.
Pretty cool, because I bet it affected, like, if you played as that character, it would affect how you saw him in game.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, actually, like, this guy, he's got his wits about him.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. In the game, as you're playing him, he doesn't have any sort of monologue. He still just shouts things.
Right. But you know the truth.
Exactly. Yeah. Just every time he like smacks himself in the face because he missed a roll, I'll know that he didn't really want to do that. It's just part of who he is as a psychotic person.
Yeah, that's cool. Good pick.
Thank you,
man. My number 10, Brian.
Okay.
It's a big one. There's a lot of baggage with this one.
Okay.
It's Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh boy.
But it's not the Keanu Reeves trailer. It's not the E3 trailer where he said, you're breathtaking, right?
Right.
The big thing, you're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
It is the trailer that was when it was first announced, the teaser trailer.
Okay.
And this is extremely cinematic. It's all.
Is this the one in the car, like driving in the car?
No, it's a lady. Well, it starts out right, and you see a bullet traveling slowly. It's like that almost slow moving photograph, right? The whole trailer is done in that style, and it's a bullet, and it's in a woman's face, and the bullet's getting closer to it, and it hits her cheek, and it shatters, and it's just like thousands of particles from this bullet, and it's all that very extreme slow motion, and then it pulls back a little bit, and it shows like the blast coming off all the guns, and it shows the cops shooting, and it's all this slow motion, and then it's like as it's focusing on these things, it's really showing you is the background. It's showing you Night City, right? And it's showing you this like very cyberpunk like aesthetic throughout the city, all the neon and the billboards and all that. But it's following the travel of these bullets, and eventually they, as they pan over the buildings and showing you all the buildings within the city, you see the next bullet hit her and shatter on her arm, and then you see that she has these like implants on her arm for blades, and you start seeing more of her, and she's very augmented, right? and all these bullets are hitting her and shattering, and all around her you start seeing the bodies around her that she like sliced through as the camera pulls back even more. And it's just like so cool. It's all very good music playing in the background, like a rock type soundtrack. And it pulls back even more. There's a guy then with a shotgun. All of a sudden, like what you would assume is your character shows up behind her with a shotgun to the back of her head. And it shows her like close her eyes. And as you're like about to squeeze the trigger, and it fades to, Cyberpunk 2077. And man, this came up when we've talked about Cyberpunk on the show before, and I had mentioned I remember seeing this trailer. Like I remember when it was first announced. I remember seeing this trailer years ago, and it got me so excited for a game I still haven't played.
Oh, I was going to ask, have you touched it at all?
No. But like, man, this was good. Like, I did get less interested the more that came out with it leading up to release, but this was like 5 years prior to that. I didn't even know who CD Projekt Red was. I hadn't played The Witcher or any of that at that point. Man, I was looking forward to this game at that time. And that was, it was a half a decade away at that point, but the trailer was so good that, man, it got me amped. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Very good.
You think you'll ever jump into that game?
I'm hearing good things, right? I'm hearing they're doing some fixes there. It's starting to get actual good reviews on Steam. Maybe I can't say no. If it ever shows up on Game Pass, or I don't even know how discounted it is right now, but I would not say I can't say no. I never play it, right?
Yeah. I think they have a big update coming, especially for consoles and bringing it to the next generation. Yeah. So that might be a time to look at it.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah,
to a point.
Right.
If they fix all the garbage, it's like it could be, it could be No Man's Sky, right? There are games that have done it, and No Man's Sky is just the example that comes to mind. But it's not unheard of for games to right their wrongs after a period of time. Like, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, that's it. Good pick. I don't know that I've seen that trailer. I want to watch it now.
You should. It's really good.
That's cool. All right. Well, my number 9, I had Halo on the brain, I think, a little bit. So Halo 2 is a big one for me. So this one in particular is where we get a glimpse of Chief. He is on a ship. He is just gearing up, and then he is jumping out into space.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So yeah, you remember this one. But yeah, there's just a lot of chatter going on, and you realize you're in the world of Halo, and just I love gearing up. I don't know if you know this about me, but whenever we get like these really close up of people, like, all right, he's taking a gun off the rack.
Yeah,
and
cool. And also like
this and
the sounds of
yes.
Yeah, it's all
so that kind of stuff.
So you must have liked it when what does he say? Do you have a gun? And he's like, I just have this, and it's enough.
Yes. For Halo Infinite, that was a fun part for sure.
Wasn't there a similar line in this trailer?
So yes, the line here, so it's Cortana saying, "What if you miss?" And Chief just says, "I won't."
And then he jumps.
That's it. Cool. Just opens the airlock and just jettisons him out. And the really cool part, obviously he's jumping out of this spaceship and he's headed towards the planet, and all you see is the planet and him jumping out. And then these huge Covenant warships are like coming into frame, and like, okay, I guess he's going to hit one of these, and that's what he's going to do. And that was just the coolest part. And I don't think it was a part of this. It wasn't a part of this trailer, but there was another one just with him jumping out with the bomb, and he just says, "I'm going to give the Covenant back their bomb." Oh, that's
during the game. That's during one of the games. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So all of those kind of things are really cool. I think Halo had some good trailers. They were one of the games that I started noticing those cinematic trailers and what these games could really do.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk a little bit about the Infinite campaign. That whole beginning sequence is such an homage to these older games.
Yeah.
Everything about it reminded me of Halo 1 and 2. It
Absolutely.
was phenomenal.
And that entire intro is basically what the trailer Do you remember the trailer for Halo Infinite and that when we met the pilot
and all that?
Yeah,
that when he
was
was like going through the debris. Yeah, that
exactly.
Yeah, right,
that was
right.
all from the trailer.
Yeah.
And I mean, you experienced it pretty much the same way.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good pick.
Yeah.
Very good pick.
Thank you. You get feelings with these trailers.
I watched my picks leading into this. There were a lot of feelings that hit me. Yeah, some of them is just, man. Like, yeah, I'll get to those. We'll get to
yes,
those.
exactly.
But first, I want to talk about my number 9. It is something that got me hyped for a game I didn't even play the first one of, and it's Beyond Good and Evil 2. Do you remember when this game came out? Oh, wait, this game hasn't come out yet.
No.
But Beyond Good and Evil 2, when the trailer dropped at E3 2017, it was super, super cool. It's still super cool if you go watch it. Like, it looks phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
Graphically stunning. And it starts with this shady, like, dealings between a pig and a monkey, and the monkey's like selling him a pig and trying to get paid for it, or selling him some idol, right? Some golden idol, and getting paid for it. And he's like, hey, and it's all like very slang, like British slang. He's like, hey, bruv, give me my money, you know? And the guy does. And then it like melts in his hand. He's like, that's Swiss chocolate. And like swears, lots of swearing, tons of swearing, but then takes off. And the pig's like, I want every cop in the city after him. And it's just this chase through the city that's very like Fifth Element sci-fi, just crowded, streets. Well, not streets, crowded skylines, right?
Right.
But I can't get over how good everything looked in this.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
I know. And it just looked like the right kind of edgy without being forced. And the dialogue was cool. You wanted to like see more of the world and see more of the characters. And, it's disappointing the game hadn't come out and still hasn't and may never.
Mm-hmm. Well, was this the trailer where they were like, and we're going to crowdsource the development and we're going to listen to you, the gamers? Do you remember that? They like paired it with this whole like, all right, well, give us money and we'll try to make it.
We made this trailer. Now give us money. Yeah,
exactly. That was kind of what they did.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they got money. I'm sure they got a lot of it. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I'm positive that they got paid handsomely for putting out such a good trailer. But yeah, I want to see this game still, because I do think that, at the time, it's that part of trailers that tends to bring disappointment, especially for that time where you see these graphics and then the game comes out and at that time, it couldn't have had it up. It couldn't have amounted to how good it looked during that trailer. Yeah. But now it could. Now we're at a point where the game can look
not
that good.
Simple, but
no, but the game can look that good now. And
absolutely.
I want to see it. I want to see that game. I want to play that game. I hope it comes out someday.
Did you? And you said you hadn't played the first one, right?
No.
Yeah. I dabbled in it for a second. I can't remember enough that I just think it wasn't for me.
Right.
But yeah, these trailers that the game has for the sequel, it just makes it seem like it's a completely different game altogether they're trying to make. So who knows what it is?
Yeah. I just don't think it's coming.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, it's going to be one of those that is in development hell forever.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Star Citizen?
Oh gosh, Star Citizen still not out. Yeah.
Right.
The Duke Nukem Forever was like that forever.
Oh yeah, it should have stayed unmade.
Absolutely. What was the other Alien game too? There was another Alien game that was like that similarly.
Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
Another Gearbox just
I know
shooting themselves in the foot.
Right? Like, please stop doing that. Keep those games away. Yeah.
So they have, but now they're just beating Borderlands to a bloody pulp.
Yeah. It's true.
I'm very excited for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands though, so I'm part of the problem.
It's okay. It's okay. You can get Borderlands 3 at $5 below.
Exactly. Oh man. All right. Well, that's a good pick. I remember the graphics being just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, number 8 is a game that I never played, never intend on playing, but the trailer was really cool to me. And just cue the country road because it is Fallout 76.
Yeah.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River, Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
I think I just like the cover of Country Road for this trailer because it's really good. But yeah, the trailer was cut really well. It doesn't really show what this game is. It's kind of just like shows Fallout kind of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell you about how this is our online multiplayer Fallout that is not in any way, shape, or form ready to be released to the public, but we're going to do it anyway. Here's your campus bag. But the trailer really got me hyped for it. And I don't even like Fallout. This is one of those instances, I think I've said it on the podcast before. If given the choice between sci-fi and fantasy, I will always choose sci-fi. But this
not
is
Fallout.
Not Fallout. No, I would much rather play an Elder Scrolls game at that point. But yeah, this trailer really had me rocking, and I was excited to see it. And then they kind of described it, and it got less appealing.
Yeah, I was too. Lots of lens flare, right? Lots of lens flare in this, but lots of very scenic shots over a very like mellow song. It was cool. It made you feel like you wanted to explore this post-apocalyptic America,
right?
And it made it seem like it was set way after the other Fallout games, which maybe it was. I don't know. I've never played it. Maybe it is actually set, but like you find the armor buried, so that indicates there was like some passage of time.
Sure.
But man, it was really, really cool. I agree. Very good trailer. Yeah.
And that game is on. I mean, it's Bethesda property, so that is part of Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
now it has
if you ever
NPCs.
want to try it. Yeah, that's true. That was the big thing that they developed. When this game first came out, I remember hearing that people were like abusing the nuke system because they were trying to say that getting a nuke was like next to impossible. And of course, people like got them immediately and were just nuking everyone at every chance they got. So
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Goodbye, West Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. So my number 8 is a game that I've never played and will never play because it's never coming out.
Oh, no.
It is Star Wars 1313. Yeah, this one made me feel some emotion rewatching it because I am still disappointed so many years later that I will never get to experience this game. So it immediately starts out with I think the line one of the characters says is, fresh air is overrated or something. There's a line about, get your last breath of fresh air in, and the guy's like, fresh air is overrated, and the next guy's like, well, you'll see how you feel about that when you're 1,000 floors down. And that I remember that hitting me like, wait a minute, like Star Wars is about space. What do you mean going down? And then you see him going into the depths of Coruscant, and it's like, oh, this is going to be some underbelly stuff. Okay. And then it hits like no real Star Wars property does, right? No Star Wars media hits in a way that like comes off as gritty. I mean, obviously we did get Jedi Fallen Order eventually, but you start seeing this like, scripted action, set pieces, and cover fire, and just these things that like you don't associate with a Star Wars game. And it really sold me as being the Star Wars game I wanted to play, the one I hadn't played yet, the gritty action, not afraid to show these sides of the universe that you don't typically see. And we're never going to get it.
Nope.
So
I think that was one of the main games in Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it did come up in there. If I'm not, I believe you're right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Obviously there's now Jedi Fallen Order, and there's a sequel in the works, and I think there was another project too that was in the works by who was it, Visceral? But that studio went under, and that game is never coming out. And it's just I really hope someday we get the non-Jedi story in the Star Wars universe. I mean, I know we did. We got Star Wars Bounty Hunter in the
Shadows of the
GameCube,
Empire.
Shadows of the Empire, and I loved both of those games.
Right.
So I know we've gotten it before. I just want a new one. I want another one to play. Yeah.
Would you call Jedi Fallen Order gritty?
Yeah, I would say
Really?
it's great. Yeah, I mean, did you play through the whole thing?
Oh yeah, no, I loved it.
It goes places, like some dark places in that game. There's a lot of like darker tones, and I think it does deal with more of the struggle of being a Jedi and constantly choosing the light.
I think you're right.
And like other games do. Yeah.
I just remember BD1 just being the constant source of fun.
bless you, BD1.
Oh man, yeah.
That guy.
Now I just want to play Jedi Fallen Order again. That game was so good.
It was. I ran through it and I haven't been back to it. I really should go back.
Yeah, that's
too many
great
games to play.
So one point to all that, I think Disney is now realizing how they need to make video games, and that is by giving it to developers that know really how to make these properties shine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it with their Marvel properties, I would say pretty well. Avengers really soured parts of things,
but they learned from that.
Exactly.
I really do.
Spider-Man and Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians, and now they have a Wolverine game coming out, and Midnight Suns. Like they're definitely, and apparently they went to the developers of XCOM and said, like, we like the work you put out.
Right.
You should do Midnight Suns, which shows you they are seeking out the people they trust, right, to make a good game. So
I mean, that multi-billion-dollar company should be able to figure out. Okay, Firaxis is the developer we need for this game.
Right, absolutely.
Insomniac is the developer we need for this game. Like they're starting to realize that. So that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
So my number 7 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So this trailer's good, real good. And so the one I'm putting on here, and I couldn't really figure out which one came first, because this is the one where we really see the whole world.
The ducks.
Yes, the ducks.
Yeah. It's the one with the ducks. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. Now there's another trailer that I was having trouble finding, and I couldn't remember if it was before or after the one I do want to talk about, but it's the one with the Guardian that is like chasing Link.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do. So the one you're mentioning with the ducks and showing the world is the first one.
Okay, it is.
That I believe was the reveal where it's like, open your eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it starts with just revealing these locations, and it doesn't say that it's a Zelda game at the forefront until it's like, Link, open your eyes. Like, okay, we're playing a Zelda game. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Jumps off that cliff.
Yeah.
With the glider.
You should talk about it. It's your
pick,
me.
But so that we see all these beautiful locations, and it does look like that. I think when the game is running, it doesn't look as beautiful as they were making it out. But that's just because I think, the Switch is definitely showing its age, and those things are a little less beautiful nowadays. But they chose the art style that could stand the test of time pretty well. And it looks really good. I mean, that game continues to do what it wanted to do really well. And the trailer, the game plays like that. I mean, I see that game and know how everything works, and the trailer shows that. There is a part at the end where it shows the Master Sword in the forest. That's not true. The forest is like 3 frames per second when you're actually in there.
Yes. Talk about chugging, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, they took some liberties with some of that, but the overall trailer really did a good job of showing all these mechanics. Like they show you climbing, and they really put that at the forefront, that you are climbing up these mountains and you're just going up, and they don't really show like the kind of meter going down or anything, but they show that he's getting tired. And obviously this is like a gameplay element. And I know they took a lot of these things kind of from Skyward Sword and then just really made the game about it. So the glider included. I know that was a big part of Skyward Sword in certain levels, basically. But they did a great job of making you see this game world and knowing what you were getting into.
Very, very good music for it too. That piano sound.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I mean, that's the soundtrack to the game right there.
Right. I almost put this on my list, but I rewatched it. Didn't make the cut.
Really?
Not to say it's not list worthy. You know, it did come to mind. So obviously it's up there. But I do like how they showed, you know, he has a flaming arrow at one point and he's lighting grass on fire.
Exactly.
And, you know, he pushes a boulder down on some of the
moblins.
Oh,
but yeah, bokoblins. You're right.
But
right.
It did show that physics engine, and it
Yes.
showed the Sheikah slate, right? And using like a magnet to lift things out of the water. It really started giving you an idea that there was going to be a lot of potential and a big playground to play in with that potential. So
a lot of mechanics going on.
Yeah, it was good. Very good. Yeah. Good pick.
Excellent.
Yeah. So my number 7. It's a game I played quite a bit of, but it's a game that people might not have thought of when it comes to video game trailers because it's Pokemon Go. It's a mobile game. Hey, you could laugh all you want, buddy, but I played Pokemon Go because of this trailer. This is watch it. Seriously, watch it. If you don't think it's a great trailer, watch it because it has people hiking all around the world. You know, you have different nationalities and they're all just trekking and they get these little like notifications like, oh, a Pokemon is this far away, this many meters. And so it shows them like turn and start walking that way. And they're walking around, you know, some of them are in mountains on cliff sides. Some of them are in cities. Some of them are in ruins. And then they see this like little Pikachu hiding around the corner, or a Charizard chilling in the grass. Right. And it shows them like pick their Pokeball on their phone and then they put their hand out and it drops into their hand and they throw it. And it was like building a picture in my head. Of course, I'm not naive. I was a grown man when this came out. So I know it doesn't work that way, but it was like, wouldn't it be cool if you could like move your phone like you're throwing it? And if there's some sort of augmented reality, which they did, it didn't look as good as it did in this trailer, but it was all so very cool. And it shows people sitting next to each other and trading on their phones. Which is something that I don't think was available at first, right? And then another thing that wasn't available at first is how the trailer ends. It culminates in this group event in Times Square of everybody taking down Mewtwo. And
that's right.
It was so epic because you have the countdown going in Times Square and everybody's like vigorously touching their phones, right? Which is how Times Square actually is in real life right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, go there. Everybody's on their phones. And it's like you might as well be playing Pokemon.
They are all vigorously touching them too.
Right. All that's missing is Mewtwo, right? Unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, it was just so cool. And that's something that they did eventually add, these community events, but it wasn't initially there. And yes, I think Pokemon Go has reached the potential that was promised in this trailer.
Totally.
I still go back and dip into it every once in a while. I think it was just such a good trailer to convey what this game is capable of. And man, people were playing Pokemon Go. I'm interested how many people got new phones to play Pokemon Go, right? Like, this old phone like plays it, but my battery dies too quick. I need a new phone. That was me, buddy. I did that.
Really?
Yeah, I was due for a new phone anyway, but.
Did you see the guy who had like 30 phones on his bicycle that were all hooked up and he was just like catching them all?
There were people who were at Uber like for Pokemon Go. I will drive you to get these other Pokemon. My wife and I, we walked all the time to catch Pokemon. And I know I wasn't alone. This is something that tons of people did.
Well, yeah, you could find the groups of people, especially when there was an event going on and like, hey, you playing Pokemon?
Yeah. We would go at night around our neighborhood and there'd be other people on their phone and they'd be like, hey, there's like a Ponyta over there, Snorlax. We just saw a Snorlax over here. I mean, it was crazy. Like that. It's so cool because you just, very few games have that capability where people start talking about them in public.
Right.
But you'd see somebody walking around on their phone and be like, hey, you playing Pokemon Go? Because yeah, there's a Skeezor back there, dude. Like, go get him. It was cool. It was just so cool. It was a time and a place, man. And
it was.
I'm glad I was a part of it.
Yeah.
This trailer got me hyped for it too.
Oh man. So you and I lived near each other when you were doing this, right?
I actually didn't live in the house at the time. That was near you. I was down on like more the south side of town.
I see. Okay.
I won't say which town.
Oh yeah, no.
But yeah, I was like down that way.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
Good
By the
pick.
cow
Yeah.
pastures. By the cow pasture. You know the cow
Oh, okay.
pastures? Yeah, by the
Yeah,
cow pastures.
You lived in the cow pastures. Okay.
Yeah, I did. Lots of good Pokemon in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were actually like throwing your phone at animals.
Yeah. I was like, look at this cow type.
What a milk tank? That's a cow
yeah,
Pokemon.
that's it. That's what it is. Militank. Yeah, I had a ton of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good pick. I wouldn't have even thought about that, but I do remember the trailer, at least with Mewtwo and Times Square. That was a big event for sure. All right. Well, my number 6 is probably the longest trailer that I've ever seen, and it is for God of War. So this is the 2018 release.
It's like 9 minutes, right?
It's like 9 minutes long. But man, was this trailer important. So it starts with oh my gosh, what's the kid's name?
Atreus? No.
Atreus.
Is it Atreus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
I'm thinking Atreyu, like the never ending story.
Right.
But it's
No,
Atreus.
It's Atreus. Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts with him. And again, it doesn't say this is a God of War game.
Right.
But it just starts with him messing around and then
toys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You hear Kratos, but it's a different voice actor. So it's not immediately
right
apparent that it's Kratos. And he's talking to him like, hey, we're gonna go hunt. And then he steps out of the shadows and you realize, oh my gosh, that's Kratos.
Yeah.
And he's talking about a mom and a kid and he's got a beard and like
yeah,
he seems older and then the actual like God of War soundtrack comes on and you realize, whoa, like this looks different. This is not the angry Kratos that we're all used to. And then he's talking to his son and like, hey, we're gonna go on this hunt. You're gonna catch us some food because I'm hungry. Like you get all of these like Kratos kind of like characterizations.
Boy. Get in the boat, boy. Boy. This way, boy. Slow down, boy. We do what we please, boy. Boy, look at me. Look at me, boy.
And then the gameplay starts. It's actual gameplay footage. And you realize this is a really tight camera. We are really close to Kratos. This is abnormal. This is way different from the kind of overhead shot and very fast gameplay. And it just goes and it plays the game. And you realize they are like having gameplay strewn about with just like interactions with enemies that are seemingly like cinematic set pieces and it just like goes from one thing to another. I don't know if at this point they revealed like, yes, this is a one shot type deal.
No, I think the trailer was though.
The trailer absolutely was.
So they just didn't come out and say it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you really get the humanity of Kratos and realize, okay, he's got a family. Like he's trying to teach his kid in a very Kratos way, which is, you know, pretty brash and you know, it is what it is. But there are some moments and by the end of the trailer, you know, the kid is like struggling to kill this deer that he managed to hit with an arrow, but needs to finish the job. And you see Kratos like helping him in his own Kratos way. It's very moving.
It's like touching.
Yeah. Which is weird for a God of War game. It's weird for a video game in the way that they're doing it. So yeah, the Kratos reveal is crazy. And then it just like, you see this world and there's a dragon flying around. So you're getting these weird hints of like, this is not the God of War that I have come to understand. This is something totally new. And I think the trailer reaction that most of us felt was, this is different and it looks cool. I hope they execute on it. And we know that they absolutely did. And the gameplay looks exactly like it did in that trailer.
Yeah, no, I remember the reaction when this first hit and like it was revealed it was Kratos too. And, you know, seeing people react to that was like, whoa,
right.
And it's like, I imagine in my head all these like macho dudes who are huge God of War fans played this, and like maybe it softened them a little bit. You know, maybe it's like
Yes,
it's not all about being macho. You know, you gotta be a good dude too.
exactly.
And, yeah, no, it's good. It's good. The trailer, the reveal, all of it. It's a very, very good pick. Man.
Yeah,
very. Good
we
pick.
get the great line, "Don't be sorry, be better."
Yeah,
from Kratos.
Lots
so.
of good lines. Lots of good lines. It's a great pick. We'll see if it makes my list.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you know I was going to have it on here?
No, I did not know that. No.
Okay.
No, I just it was long. It was long.
It was a long trailer.
Yeah. But it was good. It's very list worthy. 100%. My number 6 though is, all right, you ready? Here you go. You got this epic monologue, right? With this building music crescendoing behind it, and it starts talking about the past and how the Elder Scrolls foretold these events, and when the Oblivion gates opened, and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden, Fusrota, and then you got dragons, incredible music, huge environmental shots of the world of Skyrim, and did I mention dragons? Then it all ends with you taking down a dragon and absorbing its soul. It is like the most epic trailer. It's not short either. I know I shortened all that, but it actually it begins with that. I don't know if you remember when you went to the Blades Temple, there was that wall that told the story, and it was like really ornately like stone carving, and it actually opens on that, and Max von Sydow is the person doing the monologue, and it just like gets into the whole history of the game immediately, and it talks about Dovahkiin, you know, and it's so good. And mind you, this is before anybody knew what Skyrim was going to be. Skyrim was intrinsically tied to gaming, like for the last decade, right? And now it's a meme, like, oh, here they go, releasing another Skyrim, and that's on every system, and you can play it on your smartwatch or whatever. But this was before all of that, and it was immediately apparent this was going to be special. And it did. It lived up to it, you know, for all its faults. The game questionably worked at launch, and it didn't matter. There was so much good there. You know, developers can't get away with that now, right? People will lambast your game if it doesn't work. I mean, think of Cyberpunk, which we talked about earlier in the show. And there were definitely elements of this game that were bad, but they weren't. The worst elements weren't immediately apparent. They came into play hundreds of hours in when the game just stopped working. Because
you had a PS3,
right, because it remembered everything you ever did. But it was like the bugs they didn't work out were quirky enough that people didn't really mind. It was like almost funny, you know, being smashed into the atmosphere and all these other things. But
just like scaling mountains on a horse.
Oh, well, you could, I mean, that was Skyrim for me. It was like, oh, I have to get to this point. Yeah, there's a path to take, but I will just awkwardly jump up this entire mountain face instead. And it probably took me longer almost every time. But I loved this game. And this trailer as well got me hyped. I remember it being huge. Like people were very much looking forward to this game after seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Elder Scrolls games were big before this. Like I played Oblivion. I loved Oblivion. You know, people played Morrowind and loved it. Like they had been around, but this was the one that even the trailer, like people were talking about it that didn't talk about these games.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think from Morrowind to Oblivion and then Oblivion to Skyrim, you saw how different and more detailed and just like huge and grand these games were becoming.
What's funny,
like each of those changes were so drastic.
I loved Oblivion, and even that's a part. It's intrinsically tied to game. And you just mentioned earlier this episode about the sewer moment, and you say the sewer moment because of Oblivion.
Exactly.
Yeah. These games are important, man.
Oh man, Morrowind. Oh, that game. That was a rough game. I played it on Xbox. I remember that it was so slow. You moved so slowly. And my brother at the time, he remains my brother. But he had said like, oh no, you can get the boots of blinding speed, I think it was. And they were boots that made you move really fast, but then you were blind and you couldn't see anything.
Oh God.
but there was a guide, like you got those, and then there was like this other like ring that undid blindness. So that was the only way that I was willing to play the game, was with the boots of blinding speed with this other ring equipped, basically.
I feel like Skyrim fixed a lot of the issues with the earlier games too. Like Oblivion, I remember jumping around everywhere because it like improved your agility stat.
Exactly.
If you just jumped,
Right.
Like, just keep jumping and you'll be better at this. Yeah.
Which is a neat idea, but then, obviously we're going to abuse that.
Right. And some people disliked it. Well, I mean, we're getting away from the trailer aspect of it, but you were much less shoehorned into a specific build in Skyrim. Like in Oblivion, it was like pick your build, and like that's what you were, because your stats were leaning that way all the time.
Right.
But anyway, the trailer was amazing, incredibly epic.
Yeah.
I watched it before recording and I was like, I just wanted to grab a battle axe and start like slicing into things, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thanks.
All right. Well, number 5, I had to put another Halo game because, again, these were the ones for me. Halo 3. So this trailer,
it's my number 4. This is my number.
Oh, okay.
4. Yeah.
Well, so there were a couple trailers. Let's see if this is where we're at. But it's the kids just like looking up at the night sky, and then it just cuts to Master Chief, and he's like running and like going to battle, basically.
Yeah.
I might be conflating two of these trailers because I watched it and I'm having a hard time now remembering which one was which.
Right.
But there's 2 main Halo 3 trailers, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
One where he's just like using all of the new items. I think that was the thing that really, so he's got like the bubble shield he throws down and there's like artillery fire coming at him.
I realized I said that Halo 3 was my number 4. It's actually my 5. That's what we're on.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to talk about it at the same time. But
right.
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was, I was like, are we skipping it? Yeah.
No, I apologize. Yeah.
And then, so just seeing all these new abilities, because that was kind of new to Halo 3, was different abilities that you could pick up. And then he just like jumps off a cliff and there's like a swarm of brutes around and he's just like goes at it. But then there was the other part of this trailer, or it might have been another trailer entirely, where it's just epic Halo music and it's this big like forerunner structure like opening up, and he's just like, Master Chief is looking over a cliff and banshees are flying over him, but it's just this whole crescendo of music as this big, I don't even remember what it was in the game, opening up, and you really just got this huge sense of scale that I would say Halo 3 absolutely delivered on. So just epic Halo moments, basically.
So Halo on the brain. My number 5 is Halo 3. Mine's the Believe trailer.
Okay.
This one, I rewatched it and I'm like, oh my gosh, is
this like the diorama one?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Which,
that
like,
one is cool.
The first thing you think is, how long did it take to make this? Because the detail on each of these figures' faces, I mean, it shows
there's
like,
been a behind the scenes of this, and it's
incredible.
insane.
It's incredible. I mean, it starts out with this like really somber piano music, and the first few faces it shows are just like shell shocked, like they've seen it, and like the kind of face where you're like, I don't know if they'll come back from that. And then it just shows this like grueling humanity of war. It pans to different people on this battlefield,
and it's a static set, like a diorama,
right?
But
it's
close-ups
not moving,
of everything,
unmoving, but it shows close-ups, right? And it's like the faces like are so well done. It shows desperation. There's brutality everywhere. There are people missing limbs and people being like brutally killed, and it shows grit, like the people who are like determined to fight back. And it shows all this without anything moving. Right. And then
there's audio kind of leading you through it too.
Right. And then it all culminates with like Master Chief's limp body being displayed by the enemy for like the battlefield.
Right.
And it's all toys, right? It's like the coolest set ever. And then all of a sudden Master Chief like arms his plasma grenade and looks up. And it just says Believe. And it was like, oh God, I still get chills. Like I'm getting chills right now. It's I wanted to put this as my number one.
Mhm.
And I think it would very much belong there for anybody's list. This trailer is like everything a video game trailer should be.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking, right? And it shows you like it makes you feel things. It makes you feel real emotion. And it makes you like, yes, this is a fictional universe with fictional soldiers fighting a fictional battle. But you're seeing like it's so well displayed on their faces that you start like feeling like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's over once you see Master Chief there. And then it's like, no, buddy, it's not over. Like
if we
I'm
know
gonna finish
anything
this
about
fight.
Master Chief, it is not over.
Right.
He's still got another one in the chamber.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just talking about Halo Infinite, a similar thing happens where you're like the game starts with Master Chief getting the crap beat out of him, and it, you know, he survives.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the beginning of Infinite, it's great.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah.
exactly.
But this, oof, man, this trailer.
Yeah, good stuff.
So good. So good.
The thing that impressed me was just that intricacy of the diorama. You know that it's like this set, this physical thing that they made, and it's just so impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Good stuff. All right, then. Well, let's move on to my number 4, Mass Effect 2. Always has to be on the list whenever I can put it on there. So this one is, oh God, what is his name? Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen is it's one of these Guardians of the Galaxy style trailers where Martin Sheen is going over Commander Shepard. He's this, you know, he gets the job done and he's putting together a team, and then he goes through like several different characters that are part of the Mass Effect 2 roster. Right. And just like describing them, and then it shows a short clip of them doing what they do, and you know, Thane is like just like Captain Guys and being sneaky and breaking necks, and then Grunt is just on the battlefield, just like in a war situation, and then Jack. They don't really show Jack, but I think they do that on purpose because like Jack, that's kind of all they show. But it's this like really powerful biotic woman that is part of this jail purgatory kind of thing. But it's just going through all these characters, and then they show all of them fighting right alongside Shepard, and you just get that sense of like, okay, like Shepard put together this team, and we're gonna defeat, you know, the threat basically. But it's a very movie like trailer. Yeah. I think is why it kind of stands out for me. And then you just anytime they get a celebrity that kind of changes the tone of it. So, you know, that's Martin Sheen. That looks like Martin Sheen. That sounds like Martin Sheen. And he is just like narrating this whole thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
cool. Good pick.
Yeah.
Not on my list. Good pick, though. Good pick. It wouldn't be, but of course it would be on yours.
It would. Yes.
You are. Brian.
I mean, coming off of Mass Effect 1 and like knowing that there's a trilogy at the very beginning of this, I was very much looking forward to any and all information for the coming sequel.
You got Halo, you got Mass Effect. I'll be very disappointed if Banjo-Kazooie doesn't make your list. Just say it. No, I'm just kidding.
The Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts
you already talked about
bad.
But you already talked about Banjo-Kazooie, so check that out.
I did.
List, right? Yeah, here we go.
Okay, worst trailer, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I do not like that
maybe
trailer.
We could do worst trailer someday.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I don't know if that's in the cards.
Yeah.
We'll see. But moving on to my number 4.
Okay.
Ooh, this was one of 2 reasons that I bought a PS4. This started out, you're very obviously a rat scurrying through store shelves. And it's a rat's POV, and all of a sudden you hear a struggle. Get away from me. And things moving around, boom, something hits the shelf, and all the cans and like groceries fall around you. And what the heck? And then boom, another one hits, and you're knocked off the shelf, and you're scurrying around the floor. You don't know what to do. You see 2 people struggling. You look up, and the shelf's coming down towards you. It's the last thing you see because it pans out, and it's a dead rat. And then you start seeing these 2 people struggling. Another man enters and like says, get away from him. And he's like, stay back. I got this. And then it pans to what's happening. It's a police officer being bit by a zombie. one shot through the zombie's head. Camera shifts to the door frame. Who's standing there? Leon Kennedy, because it's the Resident Evil 2 remake. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yes.
Could not believe what I was seeing. This is something that was rumored for so long. And I mean, since the first Resident Evil remake, it was rumored. And then this happens. And it was like, oh, it's the perfect time. Finally, a system where it could be done and be like graphically gorgeous. And it was a rookie Leon too. You can tell because he shoots the zombie and he's just like, oh,
what have I done?
Like, yeah. Oh God. Like what is this? Right. And I mean, Resident Evil 2 is my favorite video game for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And this remake is so phenomenal. Like it is everything anybody I'll say it's very good for the remake. It lived up to expectations. They could have done more with like the A and B games interacting with each other. I'll leave it at that. But in no way was I disappointed by this game. This trailer was like finally seeing something I dreamed about come true.
Right.
And I
remember it now. Totally.
Man, I love it. I was like, yep, I'm getting a PS4.
Nice.
Like seeing this trailer, I was like, that's it. I'm getting one. Like,
was that your first game for PS4?
That and Spider-Man.
Oh man.
Yeah,
wow.
That and Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
That was the other game where I'm like, yep, getting a PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I can remember that trailer completely now. And yeah, because you don't know, like, what is this rat? What are we doing? And what game could this possibly be?
Right.
Yeah. There were a lot of weird things happening, and then you finally get it revealed.
Yeah. And it was cool too. It was very much an homage to that first zombie you run across in the Resident Evil game, you know, where it like takes a bite and like peeks its head up at you.
Totally.
And yeah, it was. God, I'm still like, I'm so amped. This happened. We got this game. It was a dream come true. We got the game. And the game was great.
That was the other part, was we knew they were making it because they came out and said, like,
we did it.
Listen, we're going to make the game.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't long after that they said, like, here's the game. We have it ready to show.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good stuff. All right. My number 3. This was one that immediately came to mind when we discussed doing the game trailers. And this one opens on an ocean. And then there's a narration. And then we dive deep into the ocean. And there's fish, and there's bigger fish, and they're eating fish. And then we kind of get to the bottom of the ocean, the ocean floor. And then you go over a ridge, and what do we see? Rapture.
Oh yeah.
We see the entire city, and it's illuminated, and everything, you know, the narration continues. He has made this whole world, but it's been corrupted by the I forgot what he says, like the poor or something. And then
the plebes.
Exactly. And you just see, you know, we're in Rapture now, and everything is just decrepit, and there's like water pouring in from every angle. And then there's this waterfall, and then a man walks into frame. You can't see him. You can't make out any details because he's behind the waterfall. And then we just do the golden eye zoom into the back of the head. And now we're this man. And this trailer was so crazy because it's all in first person, which was kind of weird for the time. You know, it's a video game at this point. And then the man just like is walking around. He sees this hole in the wall, and then he's like, oh my gosh, I got to go over there. And then this little girl pops up.
This is where it gets kooky. Yeah.
This is where it gets real kooky. So the girl is obviously afraid of you, the first person view. And then you just grab the little girl and then like slam her down on the ground. And at that point, you're just like, what? Yeah. What is this guy doing? What is going on? He picks up a wrench. He starts doing the whole thing with his hand. Like, I'm going to smack you with this. And then the stomping, and then the groan of a very large thing behind you. And he turns around, and it's a big daddy that we all know and love at this point. And then just a fight ensues. This big daddy, huge, old diver suit. Everyone knows what these things look like at this point. And he's whacking him with the wrench, doing absolutely nothing, and then just takes a drill to the guy's hand and is just drilling into it. And it's so uncomfortable seeing that happen. And then eventually, like, you shoot the guy, with the shotgun, and everything is fine. And then you just like see this drill pop through you, and then you realize you've been gotten from behind from another Big Daddy. Just a crazy trailer.
It was cool.
And I had no idea what this game was, but this trailer made me know, like, I want BioShock. I don't know anything about this developer. I don't know anything about the game, but that trailer was so crazy that I have to buy it. And I didn't look at anything else. I thought this game was multiplayer when I got it, because I told my friend, like, that BioShock game's coming out and like we're gonna play through it together, right?
Yeah.
And then we came to find out, like, no,
maybe not.
You can watch me play.
Yeah.
Also, this game came out on the day that I started at my current job. So
wow.
I've been there for a long time at this point.
How cool.
Yeah, because I remember knowing, like, okay, like, here's my first day at the job.
Do I go to work or do I stay home and play BioShock?
It would have changed the course of my entire life, probably.
Yeah. Good thing you went to work. I'm assuming.
Yeah. But yeah, just being like, all right, day's done. Now I'm gonna get to go play BioShock.
Cool.
So,
man, that's great stuff.
It was good.
Great stuff for sure. So my number 3 is the trailer that almost made me sob like a baby. It's Dead Island.
So I've seen people. I think I must just completely miss this trailer.
Gosh, I in no way miss this. I actually never ended up playing the game because it was like, more came out. Oh, it's first person,
right? And
then the reviews came out, and I'm glad I stayed away from the game. But it's still like, I watched this trailer before recording. It hits harder now that I have my own kid.
Oh,
it is
man.
like,
I need to watch it then.
It's like really rough. So it starts with this. It opens on a little girl laying in the grass, and she's very obviously dead. And it pans out from her eye, and it starts playing in reverse, and it shows her going back up through a building window. There was like a man on fire in the background when she was going up through the window, and then it shows what happened in that room, but it also starts playing in the beginning, which is the little girl running from a horde of zombies. And this stuff is intercut with each other. And it's her running from a horde of zombies, and then also playing in reverse from her, leaving the room.
Right.
And these two meet in the middle, and it's just this like brutal end to a family is what you're witnessing. The dad realizes his daughter's in trouble and rushes into the hallway with like a fire axe and starts smashing zombies, but the girl was already bitten. It's too late. She turns, bites him, and that's when she gets flung out the window as the mom is like desperately trying to fight these things off with a kitchen knife. Oh, and like, it's so heartbreaking, right? Obviously, like, zombies, it's fictional,
right?
But like, it doesn't take away from the emotion, and the music is like this very somber piano tone again, and it ends with the logo for Dead Island, but then it shows this kind of family home video of the vacation before that point, and it shows them like happy together, having like a good family vacation in paradise, and it just like really drills like the emotion home,
right?
Oh man, it's a great trailer. Like, it's disappointing. The game was fine, I think, but just definitely not an emotional game,
right?
Which this trailer conveyed a very different tone. But it's a good trailer. I don't know what to say.
I'll have to check it out.
I think it's one that its impact hasn't diminished due to the game being just okay,
right? Isn't there a sequel out or coming out?
So there was a trailer for a sequel, which also had it was more of a quirky, funny trailer.
Okay.
But it was a good one too, but the sequel never came out, and I don't know if it ever will.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oof. I feel like this series now is just defined by its trailer, because that's all I know about it is the trailer. I know people like it.
Agree. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who played Dead Island, but for like people who are just in the gaming world, I'm almost positive the trailer will live longer than the game in people's memories.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah. Kudos to the trailer person.
Yeah.
Or people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 2, I had my Halo. I had my Mass Effect. Got to have my Gears of War on here as well. This is the Mad World trailer, which this is one of those. Yeah, that this is a game trailer that everyone remembers. And for better or for worse, I think this kind of started off the slow cover for a song.
But it's my number 2.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's my number 2.
It's a good trailer.
Oh man, it is so good.
Yeah.
So
and this is Gears 1. So we don't know anything about this world, but it's just we get shots of Marcus Phoenix. Mad World is playing in the background.
I think the most impactful thing, aside from the music, is the music and the tone makes you feel, sad and alone.
Right.
I wasn't supposed to rhyme. But then it shows him too, and it feels alone. It's him amongst this huge cityscape running by himself, and he's very obviously like against enemies that are, going through the ground and seem bigger than him. He seems outmatched and alone, and it makes you feel afraid. Like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's very dark, and I think it conveys Gears of War pretty well. I would say that Gears of War is a little sillier than, in the actual. Yeah, definitely action. But you do get those sad moments. What is it? Dom and like his family. And there's a bunch of stuff there. I forget exactly what happens. He like has to kill his wife. I don't. There's some weird stuff where, things happen.
Definitely some downer moments in the series. But I think it ends right. He like jumps through a window in a building, and he's in this dark room. And you just see this like creature with like glowing eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. Lots of glowing eyes.
And then you see like the muzzle flash.
Right.
Right. Oh, it's really good.
And there's no sound. It's just Mad World. Yeah. That's the only thing playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this, like I said, it started off the whole somber cover of a song, which also I kind of like sometimes.
I do too. Oh, I love it. I think it's fine.
Do you remember the Tomb Raider movie when they kind of rebooted the Tomb Raider movie franchise? And they did.
It made my list for best video game movies.
Okay. Yes.
So, yeah, I remember.
They had Survivor by Destiny's Child.
I do.
Yeah, remember it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good trailer there.
Yeah. So I think like it just conveys the end of humanity, which the game's about. Like humanity is fighting for survival in this game, and the trailer makes you feel like it's a losing battle.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, man. Really, really. Like I think it started the era of modern trailers, like of people seeing them and being crazy excited, and it also like you said, in a lot of ways, was the template for modern trailers.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so that was both of our number 2s. We synced up on a couple of these. It sounds like. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into our number 1s then.
Let's do it.
All right, well, my number 1, you already mentioned, and I just had to hold my tongue for my excitement for this game, but it's Skyrim through and through for me.
Nice.
I watched this trailer probably 100 times when it came out because that music, man, it really pulls you through.
Yeah.
This was one of the songs that I loved hearing when I've seen video games live multiple times at this point, and every single time they do Skyrim, it's so awesome and epic to see. But yeah, the trailer, just with that music, you see these sweeping vistas, you see like the blacksmiths working on stuff, you see people just like milling about villages, and you get a real sense of that whole world. And the trailers, it just does so much heavy lifting to make people want to play this game. And I remember it being an event. Like this trailer is dropping. It's the next Elder Scrolls. It's what I'm expecting now for Elder Scrolls 6 whenever that comes out.
Yeah,
it's got to top this, and that's going to be difficult. We'll see.
Yeah, no, obviously it goes without saying that I think it's a great trailer. I did talk about it earlier, but it's easily deserving of a number 1 spot. Like no argument here. I could definitely see why it would make the top of your list 100%.
That's all I got.
that being said, my number one is, I've called this game my favorite game of all time. And I've said it is almost definitely in my top 3 games of all time. And you know what, Brian? I feel so extraordinary because it's The Last of Us Part 2 cinematic trailer.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think this would make many people's list, but I still watch this trailer and I think it just conveys the game so well. The gameplay in Last of Us Part 2 is great. And I think like that's a huge improvement over the first game. And this game just shows how like hectic and savage and brutal that world could be. And it uses that template of the Mad World by Gary Jules Gears of War trailer because it's Ellie, which is actually Ashley Johnson singing a cover of True Faith by New Order. And it's that acoustic slow cover of the song. And it has these touching moments with her and Dina, but it's intercut with her like basically the subway part of the game, right? Her like trying to escape this horde of clickers and the brutality of the melee in the game. And it's like, that is how brutal the melee is in the game. And it shows, you know, that, hey, you might think the clickers are a threat, but it also shows you trying to survive people. And the whole trailer is this juxtaposition of this very calming music, but the tension of the moments of this game. And it also has the emotions that you get when you play this game. I got when I played this game. Mm-hmm. And I really think like graphically, it's one of the best looking trailers I've ever seen. Musically, I love this song too. I love 80s music. I love New Order. I love this song by New Order. This song alone, like for personal reasons, incites emotion in me, right?
Sure.
So having that in there was like a surprise that it was this mix of this game I was really looking forward to. And I think this released when it was like a month or 2 away. This was pretty close to release. And I must have watched it. And I keep in mind, I'm a grown man when this came out. I was like close to 40, right? And I rewatched this trailer probably 15 times leading up to the release of this game. Like I just couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't wait to get my grubby little mitts on this, on The Last of Us Part 2. I've played through it twice at this point. I probably will play it through it again. I enjoy the game that much. It's like everything I ever wanted from a trailer. And this game ended up being everything I wanted from a game. It's a little bit survival horror. It's very good action gameplay. It's excellent storytelling. It's phenomenal emotion. And it's depressing. And I like depressing storytelling. I do. Yeah. I'm not a depressing person, tend to be very optimistic and happy, but like, man, there's something about like when stories don't have happy endings or there are true consequences to actions that I think convey real life. It's something I think this does very well. One of my favorite movies of all time, Children of Men, does it really well too. Ooh, like there are consequences to actions. There's brutality in the world, and like happy endings don't exist, right? Yeah. Like there's always a cost for happiness, right? And man, this trailer though, buddy, yeah, I'll watch it right now. I'll watch it right now. You want to see a grown man cry? No, I'm kidding. This trailer probably wouldn't make me cry, but it would make me want to play through the game again.
Is this the trailer you were referencing before we started recording?
What did I say? I can't remember.
I mean, you were just like, it's so good. This is so good.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is going to be, because I rewatched it because I was torn between this and Gears of War being my number one. Because I remember Gears of War being extremely impactful when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I rewatched it and I rewatched this and it's like, no.
There's no contest. I didn't watch the Last of Us one again, but for the Gears one, it didn't hit as hard this time around. But yeah, Last of Us, that you can't go wrong with that.
Do yourself a favor if you haven't seen this trailer or you haven't watched it in a while. Maybe you've played through the game in the meantime since you had first seen this trailer or the last time you've seen it. I would recommend everybody watch this trailer again because it will make you want to play the game, and that's the point of all these trailers, right? Is that it's supposed to make you want to purchase the product and experience it. And man, if I wasn't already on board after watching this, I was wholeheartedly on board.
Well, and I think a lot of these games are sequels because we are so ready and hyped for what's next. Yeah. Like, there's some like BioShock on here that that's not a sequel. I didn't know anything about it. but for the like Skyrim, just like hitting so heavy because I'm ready and want to see what's next for this franchise. There's a lot more emotional impact that comes along with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Great list though. Great list.
Yeah, no, this was a fun one. It was an easy one to be like, let's revisit the entirety of this trailer to like solidify. Yeah, that was good. I can put it on the list.
Yeah. When you said Halo 3, I interjected because I'm like, oh, it's got to be the Believe trailer. And then you were like, it's this other trailer. I was like, oh my God.
I forgot about the diorama one until you started talking about it.
My God, I did not forget.
Yeah.
Oh man. Like I said, I rewatched most of these and it didn't change my list much.
Right.
Like they all hit like I remember them hitting. And that's incredible. Some of these are old. Skyrim's old.
I know.
Like 10
years old.
And I watched that trailer and I was like, I want to play Skyrim.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Same with Gears of War. Yeah.
We have another episode coming next week. As always. Have we ever missed a week?
We have never missed a week.
That's great.
Ever. Actually, hold the phone. This is our 75th episode officially because we have 2 episodes. One being where I had posted like a snippet of an episode I did with Keith from the main quest. And the other one being our PlayStation Direct or PlayStation Talk.
Yeah.
Right? So this is our 75th official episode, Brian.
Nice.
Look at us.
We'll be at 100 in no time.
Mom.
That's kind of crazy.
I know.
I said we'll be at 100 in no time.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Man.
Not missed a week.
Yeah.
And bless you for that, Brian, because it seems as though we both are on the same page as far as putting these out there. And like, it's all about it. It's all about like, we got to do it.
Yeah. There are other podcasts that I've listened to that they're like, that also have not missed an episode, except they're like, well, I had a child born, so I wasn't on that show, but the other co-host was. So
it still counts.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
just
still was a show that week.
Yeah, listeners better hope there's never a week where I have to do an episode by myself because it will go off the rails.
You would have a guest if need be. I think
I'd try to find one. Yeah, probably
exactly. But yeah, next week we are going to do part 1 for our top 10 games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to have a guest for it.
We are going to have a guest. Keith from the main quest is joining us.
That's right.
And I say part 1 because we are splitting it into 2 episodes because we're going to be talking about 33 games total, right?
Well, I think we're going to do lists of 10 each. And then we're just going to talk about the games that didn't make the cut.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe the worst game we played this year or, just basically the other games that we want to talk about.
Exactly.
But we're doing 3 people doing 10 each. It is going to be the end of the year extravaganza, and we couldn't think of a better person to do it with than Keith from the main quest, our first guest we ever had on our podcast.
Yes.
Who else would we bring back?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be happy to have him on for sure. So I mean, I guess that's it. We're gonna do a part 1 and then the following week is our part 2. So there's your list off for the next 2 weeks. But this is, I mean, games of the year. That's the big one.
It's the big one. And I got thoughts. Friend. I got thoughts. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Expect surprises. I'll say that much. Expect some surprises.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you so much for listening and watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye. Bye-bye.
So extraordinary, something's got a hold on me. I got this feeling I'm in motion, a sudden sense of liberty. I don't care 'cause again.